had to go to a different country, let's say Mexico, and I had to survive there, I would have to learn Spanish, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
That's new for me, okay? What would I think about the whole time I was trying to learn the new language?
The word.
No.
How to pronounce.
I would think about the words, but I wouldn't think about the words in Spanish. I would think about the words in English, okay? So if I'm learning something new, I'm going to go back to what I already know, correct? That's where we're going to start today. So this first problem I want you to write in box 1, and yours looks different than mine. So box 1, upper left corner, okay? I want you to write this problem. 43 times 24. Okay, and I want to go back to the very beginning of how we practiced this. So the first thing we did, we drew an area model. So draw yourself an area model in that box. Or sometimes the area models were there for us, weren't they?
Yes.
And then we did some decomposing. Okay? So how would I decompose 43?
43.
40 plus 3 and 20 plus 4. Go ahead and write that down. Okay? And then I decided, okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. So I need 4 places to write on my area model. And I wrote 40 plus 3. And I actually, look at this. I actually wrote 20 plus 4 on here this way. And I did that for a reason. You don't have to do it that way today. Okay? So the reason I did that, well, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, and then what did I do, boys and girls?
Multiply.
Multiply. So what would I multiply first, Eileen?
40 times 4.
And what would I get? 160. Lillian, what would I multiply next? Okay. And what about next, Ryder? What would I multiply?
20,
20 times 40, what's that?
80.
2 times 4 is 8. How many zeros do you see? So that would have been 800. And Fernanda, what will I multiply last?
23.
And what's the answer to that?
50.
And I taught you this. I taught you to multiply across, add across. And I want to do something right now. I want to erase these addition signs. Because somebody yesterday on their exit ticket tried to add 40 plus 4, and they would have had 44 there. We're not adding until we finish. So then, 860, if I added those two together, 1032. Okay? This is the way we learned it. And then we went on to this. 43 times 24. You don't have to write this. And lo and behold, that matched. X's and O. Lo and behold, that matched. Then we added up. And what did we get? Okay, that's how you learned the area model this year. Are you with me? Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go over to the next box And I want to practice the area model from yesterday. We're going to write a problem. I'm going to pause it while I get rid of this. Okay, so what problem I want you to write now at the top of box 2 is 3.5 times 2 1/3. And we're going to do this the same way. We're going to use the area model and we're going to decompose. So start by writing that down, get your area model drawn. Make sure it's a pretty big box because you're going to have a lot to write in it. Okay, and if I were to decompose these numbers, I'm going to pull sticks here. How would I decompose these, Sergio? What would I write here? Good. 3 plus 1/2. And class, what about the next one?
2 1/4.
Okay, so how many values do I have here? 4. So I'm going to need 4 places to write them. Now, I'm thinking, I want you to write them exactly where I write, okay? There's no partial products. We're not going to do turtle head over here, are we? There are no partial products that we're going to draw arrows to. So it doesn't matter where I put the numbers. But I want you to put them where I do just so we have the answers in the same place on the boxes, okay? So let's go with 3 plus 1/2. And what am I not going to write? The plus sign. And 2, look where I wrote the 2. Plus 1/3. Okay? So now help me multiply, Lila. What would you multiply first? 2 times 3 equals 6. What would you multiply next, Cody?
2 times 1/2.
Okay, and I want everyone to write this down. Now, this is where the kids are messing up. It's the multiplication of a whole number times a fraction. Look at this. I want you to listen. There's 2 ways to think of it. I could think of it as 2 copies, don't write this, of 1/2. So that would look like this. Correct?
Yeah.
So what is 2 copies of 1/2?
2 halves
No.
or 1/4. 2 halves or 1 whole.
So 1 plus 1 equals 2. Do I change my denominator?
No.
So 2 halves, everybody write it, which equals 1 whole. And I'm going to circle those answers. Now, somebody accidentally flipped this around. We don't have to do that, okay? You're adding. So look at the next one. I've got 1/3 times 3. So I'm going to think 3 copies of 1/3. Everybody write it down. And what would 3 copies, Adam, of 1/3 be?
3/3.
3/3, which equals 1 whole. Okay, you with me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now I'm going to multiply 1/3 times 1/2. Write this in the box because you're going to go back and look at this possibly when you do your exit ticket. Okay? Now this one is 1 times 1 and 3 times 2. Okay, now here's where it's going to change. Everybody listen. Don't write anything yet. You don't have to add across. The only reason we added across on the other one was so we could draw arrows. There are no arrows. I can add this in my head right now. Can you? What's the answer? 8 1/6. There's your answer. Okay, so you don't have to write 7 plus 1 1/6. You can just add it. Make sense? Okay, let's do another one. The next problem I want you to write is 2 1/3 times 4. And again, we're going to decompose and put it on an area model. Okay, so decomposing this, what do I get?
2 1/3.
2 plus, everybody say 2 plus 1/3. Okay, now, this is pretty cool. I only need 3 places to write. Look at the board. Got one here, got one here, got one here. Wait, I could do it like this. There's a number here, and then a number in each column on the top. It's however you want to draw your line. Okay? Doesn't matter to me. I guess I'll keep mine like this. But if you do it the other way, it's no problem. So, what goes on the side?
4.
And then 2 1/3 goes here. And do I want to put that plus sign between them? No, because I think it's messing us up. We've got so many things to remember. Okay? So, Yasmin, what should I multiply first? What do you get? Okay. Morgan, what should I multiply next?
4 1/3.
4 times 1/3. Everybody write that down. Now, if I looked at this problem right here, I would think my answer was 8 1/3. Wouldn't you? But we know it's not. Because we know that you have to take the 1/3 times the 4 and the 2 times the 4, don't we? Okay, so 4 copies of 1/3. Don't write this down, but I'm going to give you a visual because this seems to be confusing the kids today. So what's the answer? 4/3. Okay? Now, that's an improper fraction, isn't it? So I'm going to change it to a mixed number. Everybody write this. I'm going back to the way you learned it. Going to take out 1 whole. What would 1 whole be? So as a mixed number, what is 4/3?
1 1/3.
So Caitlin, what's the answer to this problem?
9 1/3.
9 1/3. And I would have written down 8 1/3. Not really, because I know. But you know, you first look at this and you think, hey, wait a minute, how do I do that? You know, even when you're my age, you have to stop and think about it. Okay, we've got one more practice problem because you've got one more box on your paper. This one's really going to help you with your exit ticket, okay? Like, put a star in that box. Okay, so this problem is 2 1/2 times 3 2/3. Okay, need a box, pretty big one. And boys and girls, I have a feeling we're going to need to write on the back of the paper when we solve this. So it's okay with me if you make your box huge. I'm going to keep mine a little smaller. Now when I decompose these, everybody want to try and decompose those on your own? Okay. And you're not copying me, are you? And then get them on your area model. And could you put them where I put them? Okay, make sure you got them in the exact same place that I put them around the edge. Okay? All right. Now, how many of you want to just try the boxes on your own? Okay, so I'm going to pause it. You're going to solve what's in the boxes and then wait for me. Sound good? Okay. Okay. Okay, now I know you can simplify 2/6, but I'm not going to, and it's only because I want to help you with your exit ticket, okay? So the next step, did you get the boxes right?
Yeah.
Feel proud of yourselves? Okay. So I'm not going to get an exit ticket today, 6 different answers that are, none of them are right?
Hopefully.
Okay, no, I don't think I am.
Hopefully not.
Okay, and remember, whose fault was that yesterday?
Yours.
Mine. I needed to teach it differently. Okay, so the next step I want you to do, because I noticed something already. I've got 3 different denominators. So I want to write all these numbers down, and then I'm going to decide what to do with them, okay? So on the other side of your paper, let's write all these down. So I'm going to write 6 plus 1 1/2 plus 1 1/3 plus 2/6. Now, if you're really good, you can add this in your head. But I'm not that great. Okay? So I want to add some of it in my head, of course, don't I? What do I want to add in my head?
The whole number.
The whole number. So I want to do 8 1/2. See where I got my 8? Plus 1/3 plus 2/6. You guys agree?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can move that over, but it's probably not going to. Oh, it is going to let me. Okay. And the reason I need to move it over is because I got to find common denominators, don't I? So I want you to get it set up like this, because we're going to go back to the way we learned this. Oop, what did Mrs. Lewis forget to stick in there?
The 8 plus.
The 8 plus. Okay, and do you remember back when we did this, I said, line up your plus signs?
Yeah.
That will help you keep everything lined up correctly. Now, I don't know how I came up with this problem. I literally just wrote it down yesterday. But 2, 3, and 6 are my denominators. One of these I can choose. 6. And it just so happens on your exit ticket, it's going to be 2, 4, and 8. So you're going to get to choose the 8. Okay? All right. So let me get this written down. Do you know how to solve this problem?
Yeah.
Yes, you do. So go ahead and solve that and check it with mine. I'm going to pause it while you finish. So now what I want you to do is turn to the exit ticket from yesterday. Okay? And there's a very good chance that you want to get a brand new piece of paper and start over.
Yes.
And you can do that on the bottom of your scratch paper, or we'll get clean scratch paper for you. It's totally up to you. Okay? Whatever you want to do, you can do it on the back. You can do it, I think we wrote on the back yesterday.
We wrote on the back.
Yeah, so if it were me, I'd want to get a new one, but Fernanda's erasing the whole thing. Okay? So what I want you to do is make sure you know you don't have to do the second part of this. Okay? You're going to write the problem. Somebody read this to me. No, I mean the numbers.
3 1/2 and 1 3/4.
Okay, that's what you have to solve.
3 1/2, I believe they said.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's what it's
I can't see it.
No, I can't either.
Okay, and here's what I am expecting, which you already know. Solve that on the area model. And I've already told you you're going to end up adding 3 fractions. So at some point, you're going to have to write this. I don't want you to look at your numbers and think you can add them in your head, because it's not going to happen. Okay? All right. Any questions? All right. Good luck today. When you're done, you can get on IXL M34.